All right, so this is a correction to problem number 1 that was from the live lecture on Monday night from 6 to 7, because we were kind of pressed for time at the end. And so not until after the session ended did I realize there was an arithmetic mistake. So I'm correcting it here in this recording. So this is the problem that we did. And everything we did is correct mathematically, except at the beginning of the problem, I mistakenly wrote a 1 when I should have written a 4. So where that mistake is right here when we were substituting. So it's b squared minus 4ac, but I have a 1ac. And so if we correct that by making that 4, then what that's going to do is change this from 16 plus 4 to be 16 plus 16, because you're going to have 4 times 1 times negative 4, which is negative 16, and then you are subtracting that, so that's plus 16. So we're going to change this plus 4 to plus 16, which means instead of 20, we're going to have 32, which is still not a perfect square, which is what I was explaining before when it was 20, except instead of taking 20 as 4 times 5, we're going to take 32 and say, okay, well, what can I break 32 in that involves a perfect square? And that is 16 times 2. And so we're going to break that into square root of 16 times square root of 2. And then the square root of 16 is a perfect square, which instead of turning into 2, is going to turn into 4. And then, as I mentioned in the first recording, we treat this as 3 different parts: the part before the plus minus, the part after the plus minus, and the denominator. And now you look at all 3 of those parts to see what do they have in common. Well, they have a 2 in common. So up top, we're going to factor out a 2. And so 4 divided by 2 is 2, but 4 square root of 5 is going to have a 2 still in front of the square root of 5. And on the bottom, then 2 times 1. So now what happens is the 2 still cross out, but I have a 2 in front of this square root of 5. So my answers should be 2 plus or minus 2 square root of 5. Or I'm sorry, not square root of 5, square root of 2. I need to correct that as well. Rough night. So that was a 4 square root of 2, 2 square root of 2, 2 square root of 2. So all that divided by 1 is 2 plus square root of 2. So there we go. These are the correct answers that match your answer key. And so I would enter those as 2 separate answers up here. And I would correct this to say 2 plus 2 square root of 5, comma, 2 minus 2 square root of 5 in that answer blank. So my apologies for that. That's what we get for rushing. So make that a lesson during your test. Try not to rush so that you can avoid the same arithmetic errors that I just made. Thanks. Good luck.